Hello. In this video, I wanted to do a comparison between Fritz and Leonhart. And now before I really get into anything, obviously Fritz is better, but I just thought it'd be interesting to see how they compared. So if you like this kind of video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe. I do have a lot more AOTR content over on my YouTube. So if this interests you, please go check out more. But anyway, let's get on with the Leonhart build first. So let's talk about the perks first. You're going to want to use your body slot for either adaptation or immortal, but it doesn't matter that much because you're going to be using both anyway. As for the offense slot, we're going to be using Art of War. And finally, for the support slot, we are going to be using Soul Feed. There is also an argument to use Courage Catalyst instead. I personally believe that this is up to personal preference. If you feel like you need the health increase, then I would recommend sticking to Soul Feed instead. But if you can, Courage Catalyst is still really good. I will say Courage Catalyst is going to be better on the female raid and is going to be more important than Soul Feed. So what I'm going to be doing is using Soul Feed on the armored raid and then using Courage Catalyst on the female raid. And as for the memories, the best ones are Gambler, Apotheosis, Quake Strike, and Fury Forge. And as for the skill tree, you're going to want to go right for the cooldown, crit chance, and crit damage, as well as the health. The health path is best for female Titan because she has significantly less HP than the other Titans, but if you are wanting to play the attack Titan, then tank is going to be better, same as armored. And as for the skills themselves, I'm going to be running Black Flare, Hellfire Barrage, Flashbang, and something like Order Rage. And truthfully, the human skills aren't going to matter as much. And as for the artifacts, it's going to be both Scars and Ring, both with perfect shifter damage. And now for the mastery. The only Titan skill I never recommend is Eject. I would never recommend using Eject. I think it's very pointless. The only time I can maybe think about it is if you just don't have enough support, but I still don't think Eject is personally ever worth using. So you're going to be using Sidekick, Roundhouse Kick, Shriek, Hardening, and Grapple. And lastly, I'm going to talk about the Mimicry. When you're running Leonhart, I would personally recommend the Armored Titan Mimicry the most. The extra buff to the hardening as well as the extra health just make it so much easier to stay in your Titan form. And now we're going to be running an Armored Titan Aberrant Raid with these modifiers on. And let's see how we do. All right, and here we are on the Armored Raid. We're just going to wait over here, farm our Awakening Bar with these Titans. Just shift as soon as possible. Now we can go over to the side and scream. Try and get them off the boats. Perfect. Yeah, that was a really unlucky time for any of that to happen. So as I always recommend to just forget about boat 1. Just pretend it doesn't exist, because it really doesn't. Especially when you're soloing this raid, you kind of just gotta let it go. And unfortunately, they are already back on these boats. Get the Titans to focus on me over here again. All right, perfect. Not really, but a little stressful. Dodge to this side because he does like to do a... Yeah, unfortunately, I did get clipped on the edge of a building, so I couldn't. But typically, you want to bait out that attack. He usually does it at the start of this phase, unless if he does it like right before phase transition. Okay. No! Oh my gosh, I was mid-swing. I couldn't get out of that. That is very unfortunate. Let's see if we can still murk it out a little bit. Did time that poorly with his punch. That's fine. Just looking to try and survive at this rate. I like to use the grapple effect while he's healing, just because it does give me iframes as well as health from Soul Feed. All right, and this is where I'll scream. Just want to stay topped off for as much as possible. Okay, I don't want to get pushed in here because I do want to kill as much Titans as I can on this side. Unlucky, but at least we didn't take damage from that, so that's fine. Felt like he was preparing to do that. Feels like he kind of has like a buffer animation. I don't know if you can tell, but it's like he's tiptoeing forward to you whenever he's about to do something like that. But I could be just completely wrong. Don't take my word for it. Kind of like that. He just like was hesitating for a lot longer than normal. But anyway, it's like regardless, you still want to stick behind the Titan anyway, just because it is the safest place to play. Yeah, that is very unlucky. I hate when he does that. This is what makes the raid take so long. And that's it for the armored raid. Let's see if we can get anything good for our troubles. Maybe a serum? Nope, that's all right. And so our final time was 5:14. It was a minute and a half under time trial. So not too bad, but it can be very stressful. I've died a lot of times doing this raid solo with just a Leonhart build. It gets very tricky, but it is possible. Maybe just not the most efficient to grind solo, so you definitely want help with this raid if you plan on grinding it. Before we start the female raid, I decided to switch to assassin instead. I don't fully know if assassin works for Titan shifting, but I'm going to be trying it. And as usual, female Titan raid, aberrant with these modifiers on. And here we are on the female Titan raid. Let's see what we can get done with this build. And the best part about the female raid is when you have apotheosis, you actually are able to shift immediately as long as you hit every single one of these skill checks. That is why it's also very important to not skip the cutscene. Not only do you lose health, you miss out on shifting immediately. Just like that. Probably should have popped a flare really quick, but oh well. Pop the heal once you get to about that level again. Yeah, we are getting very low, so I just want to step to the side and be able to heal. Or get sent up to space, that also works, I guess. Why not? Yeah, we did get very low, and we still kind of are. So I'm going to use my skills to kind of give me some extra support here. Perfect. That's exactly what we want. I think our adaptation is on his stomp and soft punch, so we are very vulnerable to his bigger attacks, which is usually typical for adaptation. We did get hit by that. That is very unfortunate, but thankfully our skills are about to come off of cooldown. Perfect dodge yet again. I honestly feel like her roundhouse kick hitbox is super delayed, so that one is the easiest to dodge, as long as you look out for the animation super early. We both did that at the exact same time. And that's it for the female Titan raid. Let's see what we can get here. Oh! Holy, that is a W. Nice. And so we got 4 minutes and 2 seconds. That did go a lot faster than the armored raid. I feel like it's mainly just because of the first phase takes quite some time. But at the same time, the only moves that give bosses iframes in this raid are the Shriek, rather than Reiner having both Shriek and the, I call it the bullet dash, I don't know its actual name, also give him iframes, so it sometimes just takes extra time. But anyway, we're going to move on to the Fritz build next. All right, and now here we are on the Fritz build. So the first thing I want to talk about are the perks. And since Fritz does give an extra defense perk as well as a support perk, we are able to run both adaptation and immortal. And for the core slot, we went with Black Flash. And the offense slot, we went with Art of War. And the two support perks we went with are both Font of Inspiration as well as Courage Catalyst. I would definitely recommend these two over Soul Feed. Fritz definitely doesn't need Soul Feed. It already has insane health buffs, which we will talk about in just 1 second. And the artifacts don't change. They're still both Ring and Scars with shifter damage. However, another thing that does change are the memories. For the most part, they're the same, except we're actually going to be running Tactician. And as for the skill tree, it's still right, with the skills being Hellfire Barrage, Black Flare, and Founder's Order, which is basically like Shriek, but it doesn't kill Titans, it just heals you, and Chaos, which is like a bomb that kills up to 9 nearby Titans and gives people extra progress in their Awakening bar, as well as Titan shifting. And as for the mastery, you still want the same skills as Leonhart, For the mimicry, when you have Fritz, you want to go with the Attack Titan mimicry, mainly because your health is really good, so you don't need the buff from the armored mimicry and can just get more DPS through the Attack Titan mimicry. And now we're going to be starting off with the female Titan with Fritz. Same exact modifiers as before. And here we are yet again on the female raid. Let's see how we do with the Fritz build. And the Chaos skill does not do a lot of damage to the boss, but sometimes I just like to pop it for fun really. But it is best to just kind of cripple the boss if you can early, but just popping your Serum is definitely the best option for you. So the great thing about Fritz is how much more tanky it is. So you can focus a lot more on DPS. Might as well just heal while he's healing. Usually just kind of the best time to do it while you wait for him. If you are on Thunder Spears, even if he is healing, you can sometimes get away with crippling, but since he doesn't have any crit spots during this raid, it's a lot harder to do. But for example, if she was screaming, or just if Aaron's screaming during his raids, even though they are basically invincible at that stage, you can still damage their legs to cripple them. Yeah, like I can get away with more of a greedy play here by putting off the heal just to make the raid go by much faster. And as always, I am never punished. And of course nothing. So that took 2 minutes and 40. I think the Leonhart one took about 4 minutes and 13 seconds to do. I'll put them side by side. I can't quite remember the number. But anyway, let's move on to the Armored Titan raid. And here we are on the Armored raid. So I'm just going to wait for them all to pile up here, and then I can just pop my Chaos skill. Well, if that doesn't happen, assuming. That would have been nice if it didn't. Either way, we're fine. We're able to just pop it anyway. That's just a little unfortunate, but that's just due to my own greed anyway. Now let's see if we can get them off of the boats. And since they are both going to be just fine, we were able to focus on Reiner. Alright, and that's it for the Armored raid. Oh! Holy! Armored Serum. That's going to be sold for gems. Perfect! That is great luck from Fritz. Definitely. It was definitely the Fritz. But anyway, I'll put both end screens side by side again for the comparison, but definitely Fritz went a lot better. And so for this last part, I wrote down every single number from each attack, added them all up, and got the average. Keep in mind that this is with the gambler memory, so the numbers do fluctuate a little differently, but this is a rough estimate. So for Leonhart, the M1 attacks were all these numbers at the top here. The M2s, which are, I think it's probably called something else. It's like the special attack or something. Basically the M1 that just hits a little harder with a little bit more cooldown. The roundhouse kick is the other skill, and then there's side kick. I didn't do shriek, mainly because it's not really for doing damage. I just wanted to compare the main attack skills. So on average with Leonhart, we got 198,000 with M1. The M2 was 266,000. Roundhouse kick was 1.1 million, and the side kick was 1.2 million. And these are the total from the attacks for Fritz. And on average, I got about 345,000 damage for M1s, 241,000 for M2s, 1.6 million for roundhouse kick, and 1.5 for side kick. It is kind of interesting that the M2 was slightly less. I do just think that it is a slight gambler diff, but we're mainly looking at the comparison between Leonhart and Fritz. And that's going to do it for this video. I kind of just wanted to make a video about Fritz because, I mean, I have it. I might as well make a whole video dedicated to it. Why not? Let me know what you thought of the video down below. Remember to leave a like, subscribe if you want more Attack on Titan Revolution, and I have to be honest here, guys. It is kind of getting difficult to make content right now. I am slowly running out of ideas. I know I could do the Noob to Pro series more, and I more than likely will focus on that, but I do apologize if anyone isn't really interested in that. It's pretty easy to say that. It's getting hard to make videos on this game when it hasn't updated for as long as it has. People have been talking about that for months. I don't really need to keep hampering on it. But what I'm trying to say is if you have any video ideas, feel free to let me know. Leave a comment about what you guys would like to see. Thank you so much for watching to the end. And remember, please follow me over on Twitch. I stream there as well, and that is one of the best ways to support me, as well as joining the Discord server. The link will be on screen to both. But anyway, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day. Have a great night. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.